Okay. So previous class we discussed about full stack application as well as technology stack for front end as well as back end. Now we are going to start a back end development. Okay. So here we are doing creating a Spring Boot project using STS and project name as an employee management service, and prepare the project structure and configure the database properties. Just we are preparing the project, creating the project as well as and adding the database properties. So we already discussed the previous slide as we are going to use MySQL database for this project. And also you can see here in the MySQL, I created a EMS as a database schema, 0 tables. There is no data tables here, just it is a employee management service as a database name. And here, this is the STS tool. It looks like Eclipse only. So file, new Spring Starter project. Okay. So here you can name it as a 2024 employee management service, project name as a 2024 employee management service. And here we are using a Maven project and Java 17 version I selected here. The group ID I already written like this com.vkakarla.ems service, employee management service. And artifact name is nothing but a project name. And version, default version, it will take 001 snapshot. And description, this is the Spring Boot 3 for employee management service project. And package, whatever we are giving here, group ID, we can give it as a package name also here. And next here. So here you can add starters or dependencies for this project. So first I am going to add web here, Spring Web. So see here, this is the build web including RESTful applications using Spring MVC. So, and also Apache Tomcat is the default embedded container. So that is the beauty of Spring Boot application. Spring Boot by default, it will come as a embedded Tomcat server. So whenever you are writing the code and run this project, automatically deployed the jar file or WAR file into the container of this Tomcat server. So if it is a Spring application, you need to create a WAR file and you need to deploy the manually into the running Tomcat server. Here, by default, it will have the Tomcat server. You can directly run and deploy in a single click. So that is what Spring Boot will offer. Production ready applications we can develop using Spring Boot. Okay, Spring Web already added, and Spring Data JPA. So this is the Spring Data JPA. Using this, you can see here persistence data. This is okay. Persistent data SQL stores the Java persistent JPA using Spring Data and Hibernate. So by default, it will use the JPA as well as Hibernate implementation. Okay, I am adding. So, and also we can add MySQL connector to connect the database. You need to add the driver class. So all this we can add here. Next, and it will prepare the project here. It will prepare project and it will come here. So you can see here and go to the project object model that is called POM. And you can see here. So whatever we are dependencies, right? As a starters, it is coming here, Spring Data JPA as well as Spring Starter Web and MySQL connector as well as Spring Data, Spring Boot test also. If you write the test case, you need to have the test related dependency. So here you can see the properties Java 17. Okay. Here you can see the Spring Boot, ORG Spring Framework Boot as a third version, 3 versions, Spring Boot 3 and Java 17. Okay. So you can see here application.java. So the main class is the application.java. Here we have a Spring Boot Spring Boot application is the main annotation which will take care of all these actions like Spring Boot configurations, enable auto configurations, and component scan. Whatever you are writing a classes in future in this project, it will automatically scan all the components. Okay. So that is what it is going to take this Spring Boot application annotation. And the starting point of this application will be here, the application.run application.class. Okay, the starting point of application will be run here. And coming to properties here in resource folder, we always have a properties, application.properties. And by default, it will have a embedded Tomcat server. So automatically it will take the port as a 8080. So if you have other services are running 8080 in this your system, you can define your custom port here, server dot port here, server dot port as a 2024. I'm giving as a port number. Okay, and also we can add Java Spring data source URL. Let me copy. Already I have noted here. Okay, let me remove this. Fine. Okay, so you can change as a EMS as a project schema here, and whenever I installed MySQL, right, I given username and password as root and root. So here I added Hibernate DDL command, data definition language. Okay, data definition in the sense creating table, defining table, and defining constraints in the table all. So DDL command I given create and drop. So you no need to create a table as well as fields in our database here. So from this command automatically create the table based on the entity here, database model. How you are defining a database model, based on that it will create a table for you if you give the schema or database name here. That is what it will take care. Okay, so MySQL driver. So obviously we know, right? So MySQL driver, we added a connector dependency in our form.xml. So the driver class will be coming from the starter or dependencies. Okay, I added here. So let me run this application. Just I'm running Spring as a Spring Boot application. So one step it will take care and it will run. See, application is started and started in the 2024 as a port number. Tomcat it is started. Otherwise, if you are not adding port here, it will take the 8080. So we are added a custom port, right? It will give the here. So this is what application and the project structure also you can add controller as a package name ems.controller where we are writing a employee this is employee management service, right? Here we add the employee controller, and you can add another package service where we are writing a employee service here, and add one more package called service IMPL. All the implemented classes from the service we will implement here, and add one more package called DTO. All the DTOs will take care of request response objects from the front end side. Okay, and you can add as a entities here, entity package. Entities where we can define database models here, and also you can define one more package called repo, where we can have the repositories here to define and using the existing repositories from the data Java Spring Data JPA. We can have our employee repository here. It will be extended on the JPA repositories. So this is what a project structure. In our next class, we are going to add all the DTOs and entities, and also controller and service IMPL. The next class we are going to add, next class or session, we are going to add all the classes here. So now our application is created, and the project structure also created, and it is also running successfully. Okay, then we can connect the next class.